Women think Vikings are hot. That's not a secret. We have entire shows dedicated to glorifying their hotness, basically. Everyone knows women love Vikings, but today we're going to talk about the actual reason why. Why are women asking their man what they would do if a coworker baked them a pie, and what's the right answer? This all started with a viral video where a woman is telling a story about how one day her boyfriend came home with a pecan pie. And she's like, "Oh, where'd that come from?" He goes, "Oh, my coworker made it for me." And she's like, "Which coworker?" And he said, "Julie." She immediately becomes skeptical of the whole situation, and she even calls Julie to be like, "What were your intentions with that pie?" So this has now led to a trend of women asking their partners, "What would you do if a female coworker baked you a pie?" And in 100% of these videos I've seen, without fail, as soon as the girl asks the question, the dude goes into quick maths mode. Like, you can see him start to just, like, calculate. He's like, "I know this is a trap, I just don't know how yet." One dude got a little too defensive. As soon as she was like, "What would you do?" He was like, "I would throw it away." She's like, "You just throw it away right in front of her." So I thought I would woman-splain this phenomenon a little bit more in case you get hit with the pie question. So to be very clear, the question is not, would you bring the pie home? Of course you would. The question is, why is your female coworker baking you a whole-ass pie? Now, your problem is that you don't know why this coworker baked you this pie because you just got here and this coworker doesn't exist. So your goal to succeed at this riddle is to give your partner the most logical and platonic reason you can think of for why your coworker gave you a pie. You gotta be like, well, she probably has some kind of like Instagram baking page where she just indiscriminately needs more content to push out, and I got lucky and happened to get a pie because that's the only way it could have happened because I would never lead on a coworker. She just wants a little reassurance. And that's how you answer the pie question. So I've been dreading making this one because it is such a hard and sensitive topic, but here we go. Many of y'all have asked me to womansplain what to do if you are in a dead bedroom phase. If you don't know what that means, first of all, congrats. But secondly, it's when two people who love each other aren't really consistently, if at all, anymore in the bedroom. And this can affect both men and women. I just more often hear men asking about it. And they're all like, "What happened? She was a freak when we met." Yep, that was before she shared an entire mental load with you. Look, I know women have just as high of fun drives as men do. The issue is that we also get more mental roadblocks. Like, she could actually be really revved up, but then suddenly noticing that the bag of trash you said you'd take out 2 days ago is still sitting by the door will shut her right down. More and more studies are showing that there is a correlation between housework and a healthy love life. This is one article that discusses the findings from the Journal of Family of Psychology, but there are also studies by the Journal of Marriage and Family, a study by Cambridge University, a paper in the American Sociological Review. So there is a lot of evidence to suggest that more equitable labor division will get you laid. They actually have a word for it. They call it chore play. And there are also a lot of studies that show that on average, women do more housework even when, wait for it because I know what you want to say, even when they work the same amount of hours. So you got to make sure that gap is bridged. And dude, don't be afraid to call a family meeting literally so everyone can agree what is fair and equitable. Like, why don't people do family meetings anymore? But if she's turning you down pretty consistently, try to see if there are any mental roadblocks that you can help move out of her way. That's just one possibility, and it works on men as well. I can personally say that I'm a lot more relaxed when I'm walking past a clean sink and things put away in the living room on my way up to the bedroom. Oh, here's our new bed frame, by the way. We have fun. Work hard, play hard, guys. Love your content. Do you have a video about why women hate the shower curtain being open? Wait, I guess I've never thought about it, but you have just made me realize that I do hate the shower curtain being left open. And he means like while you're not using the shower, while no one's using the shower, it's still being left open. And like, yeah, I guess I prefer that it stays closed. Now, there is a scientific reason for this. It's not my reason. I'll get to my reason in a second. But because confirmation bias is one hell of a drug, I did decide to Google it to see if there was any scientific relevance. And there is. Apparently, when water droplets get caught in the folds of the curtain while it remains open, it can lead to mold and mildew buildup. And so it's best to close it so that it can dry faster. But that's not my personal reason. My personal reason for liking them open is pretty much the same reason for everything seemingly weird that women do to men, which is the magic word, aesthetic. So like, I'm in the kids' bathroom and it's superhero themed, right? And I'm sorry, but I did not pay a bunch of money for a cityscape shower curtain for there to be no damn cityscape, okay? We gotta keep it open. This is our master bathroom. We're working on kind of like a mocha olive green theme. Okay, look, we're gonna need a little bit more composition here. Beautiful. Now, is your shower gonna turn into a Swamp Thing bog cove if you leave it open? No, dude, calm down. But I do think one of the kindest things a man can do when he enters a woman's life is to not take those little aesthetics away from her. And I say kind because whenever you do something for someone, when you full well do not understand why this dumb little thing brings them so much joy, but you do it, you close the shower curtain anyway because you know it will bring them that small joy, that's kindness. It's not the bare minimum. It's not something you're expected to do. It's not something you should be doing necessarily, right? But it is that extra kindness that goes a long way. So again, ladies, you will not die if it is left open, but men, remember, aesthetic. We like that shit. Today I'm going to try to womansplain the age-old question, why is it that women seem to go for the jerk over the nice guy? So it's not necessarily that we try to go for jerks. The quality that we find attractive is well-placed aggression or well-placed assertiveness, which is what I would describe as masculinity. Our problem is that we don't always recognize very well if that aggression or assertiveness is actually well-placed. So what do I mean by well-placed aggression and assertiveness? They're the type to ask for a raise at work. They're the type to interject themselves into a situation if they see someone smaller or more vulnerable who needs their help. They shut people down when they're spoken to disrespectfully, even their romantic partners. And sadly, jerks tend to display these behaviors with a lot more bravado than nice guys tend to. Because a lot of it has to do with confidence. This is the same way that men end up falling for the hot, crazy girl. Both the jerk and the hot, crazy girl tend to have a lot of confidence. We see it and our dumb lizard brain is like, this is a quality that I want for my children. Even though that dude just punched a hole in the wall or that chick just threw a glass at your head. We all fall for it at some point. But eventually, you learn to trade out the guy who always has to get into bar fights for some reason for the guy who will stop the whole car to walk an elderly woman across the street. Yes, my husband has really done this. You learn to date the guy who reads his nephew bedtime stories every week instead of the guy who calls other men the wrong names on purpose to establish dominance. Or you keep dating jerks forever and then wonder why you're miserable all the time. You're an adult. The choice is yours. All right, man, let me womansplain something about women that's going to make your life a lot easier because it's true for all of us. Like, across the board, it is a universal fact about women. Tickling is dangerous, okay? Because we all hate it. All of us, truly, we hate it. In the whole universe, there might be like 2 women who like tickling, and we don't claim them. And look, we are not responsible for the actions of our body while under the influence of being tickled. I'm sure you know this, but you tickle your girl and she will turn into a bro real quick. Our body reacts like our dog just stepped on a bee. We just start swinging. We just start flailing around like a wacky, wavy, inflatable arm man, dude. There is no fight or flight when we're tickled. Just fight. It's like adding water to a gremlin, bro. Just don't do it. Because it'll go from, stop it, to finish him real quick. And I usually say that the type of response that you get to a move you make is wholly dependent on how attractive that girl finds you. But trust me, being hot will not save you here. You could be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and homegirl will still accidentally clothesline your ass if you come for them pits. And I know what you're thinking. I wouldn't start something I can't handle. Bro, you're wrong. You thought The Exorcist was bad? Shorty's gonna have the ragdoll effect of a Skyrim character after they just got clubbed by a giant. It's like putting yourself at 5 stars in Grand Theft Auto, my guy. But I know some of you guys are still gonna try and do it, because deep down you got a little bit of that Joe Exotic in you. You like poking the bear. It's fun to you, right? Guess what? We know your spots too, motherfuckers. We're coming for those feet. And if the feet don't work, we're coming for the knee pits. We're coming for the hip bones. We're coming for that little spot in the small of your back you think we don't know about. We know your tickle spots too. So just try us. And quit laughing. I'm trying to look intimidating. Women think Vikings are hot. That's not a secret. We have entire shows dedicated to glorifying their hotness, basically. Everyone knows women love Vikings, but today we're going to talk about the actual reason why. So first of all, historians have been documenting women's chronic thirst for Vikings since the late 8th century. In fact, Vikings were so hot and banging so many men's wives that it led to the Anglo-Saxon slaughter of Vikings in the year 1002. This is documented by medieval chronicler John of Wallingford, who wrote this of the mass assassination. The Danes made themselves too acceptable to English women by their elegant manners and their care of their person. They combed their hair every day, bathed every Saturday, and even changed their garments often. They set off their persons by many such frivolous devices. In this manner, they laid siege to the virtue of the married women and persuaded the daughters, even of the nobles, to become their concubines. I mean, it is a hell of a thing to admit that they murdered all those chads just because they took baths. But that's the thing, historians and archaeologists cannot shut up about how hygienic Vikings were. Those who studied the Vikings found that it was very common for them to carry things like tweezers, grooming equipment, and even ear cleaning tools that they made from bones. And people were hella pressed about the weekly baths thing because back then the church was telling people that bathing was sinful and welcome to demonic possession. But the Vikings didn't fear God, so in Odin's name they kept on scrubbing. Even when you study Viking names, among the more honorific war titles like Thorfinn Skullsplitter and Eric Bloodaxe, you'd also find names like Olaf Peacock or Citric Forkbeard, which was an intricately plaited facial hairstyle. Point is, these were men who cared about their bodies and clothes looking nice. There's actually no evidence to suggest that Viking men were any taller, more muscular, more handsome, or grew fuller beards than any other men at the time. They just didn't smell like ass. And that was enough for hundreds of women to abandon their husbands, children, and lives as they knew it to travel abroad with a bunch of Vikings on a boat. So if you want to be a modern-day Viking, just get a reliable barber and that new line of Calvin Klein, because on Odin, we are suckers for a good-smelling man.